So, you guys know how I built this interactive shooting ride based off of Pokemon Snap because I suspected Nintendo was going to make a new Pokemon Snap game in the future? Well, my prediction came true because in the last Pokemon Direct, they released a trailer for the new Pokemon Snap game. And hey, our Pokemon Snap ride is almost done. I'm actually not going to finish it in this episode, but in the next episode, we're going to 100% finish this ride and make a video about it so we can take advantage of the Pokemon Snap hype. That's the exact reason I built it, so we're gonna have to cash in on those views, baby. Anyways, welcome back to Let's Build the Ultimate Theme Park, guys. My name's Tyler Cedarwall. Nice to see you guys again. It's been a minute. We're back with another spicy episode, and today we're actually going to start building a roller coaster in a location that you probably weren't expecting me to build another roller coaster. And the location that I want to build the station is inside the giant sci-fi complex that we built like half a series ago. We're coming back to it because I realized that this building was much too large to only have one coaster station. So I decided I'm going to put a coaster station in the basement and then take advantage of all that empty space we have in the field next to this giant complex. So I decided to put the line entrance in a pretty interesting location. I put it into this column that we had in the center of the room. And we're going to have a spiral staircase take you down to the basement where there's going to be a large opening. And what I'm planning to use this location for is I think I just want to have it look like it's a giant storage facility. Like you're just going down into a laboratory and just are kind of like behind the scenes, and there ends up being a coaster. I haven't fully decided the theme on it yet. I don't plan on actually finishing this coaster today. This is not the main focus of this episode, but I just wanted to start a coaster so I could lay it out for myself and think about it a little bit more intently before I start putting the details. And I'm sorry this series hasn't been uploaded as frequently, but I've just been really busy because it turns out that I'm still able to have my event versus expo in July, but I'm having to make a lot of changes due to all of the circumstances right now happening around the world. And so I've just been like really busy with event planning and having to like restructure my whole entire event to kind of adapt to what's been going on, which has just been causing me to be really busy, and it's been hard to focus on creative projects like this. But that being said, Versus Expo is still happening this year, so if you're interested in coming, click on the link to our website down in the description to book your hotel rooms and get tickets. If you live in the Midwest, it'll be a great place to hang out with other gamers and people who like YouTube and Twitch. And if online video and content creation is something that you're interested in doing in the future yourself, this would be a great location to come and meet other people who are doing it, network, make connections, and get inspired. Because one of the things that inspired me the most to become a better content creator was going to conventions, making friends, connections, and like getting closer to the community and feeling like personally attached to it. This event is a way for me to try to give more people an opportunity to hang out with online friends and meet new people who are more similar to themselves. That being said, we are currently building a launched wing coaster, which seems like a really fun type of coaster in my opinion. I don't know if I've ever been on one of these myself, but I just like how the cars hang off on the side. That's another reason I haven't been uploading this series as much, is because all of the theme parks have been closed down, so I haven't been able to travel or go anywhere to give myself inspiration. And usually the times I want to like add on to my Planet Coaster theme park is when I'm like out traveling and when I'm going to theme parks and like being around people, because this series just kind of has the same energy as that. And since I've been like more cooped up at home, it was just like hard to motivate myself to work on this park. And I'm hoping that after Versus Expo, I'll be able to drive up to Ohio and finally go to Cedar Point for my first time. Because right now, I'm in Missouri, which is where I started making this series. I've been recording most of it in California since that's where I moved to. But I drove from LA to Missouri for a wedding and to see family. And then afterwards, I'm driving up to Chicago to host Versus Expo. Which, speaking of, I'm thinking for Versus Expo this year, I think I'm going to have a Planet Coaster segment where I have two Planet Coaster players compete and have a time limit to build a ride and decorate it as best as they can, and then have the audience like vote on which one they think is the best. I'm still in the works of like trying to figure out the best way to do this, but if you guys have any plans on how I can turn Planet Coaster into a Versus, let me know in the comments, and we'll try to do something kind of fun and competitive at Versus Expo. And maybe I'll even do a Planet Coaster Versus video before Versus Expo, that way we can just like test an idea out, because that's something I definitely want to do, because I think the Versus concept could actually be used with simulation games and stuff like this a bit more frequently. I just gotta kind of push myself into doing it. And I'm sorry for talking so much about Versus Expo. It's just like really on my mind because it's like the main thing I'm working on right now. And also since it's my event, I'm like very responsible for promoting it as much as possible, which is why I gotta like shout it out at least once per series I'm working on right now, just to kind of like raise awareness. But at the same time, it's kind of fun to talk about because I'm starting like a literal charity gaming convention. And I'm going to try my best to make sure it stays successful because I want to try to get lots of people involved and have it provide lots of opportunities for people in the future because that's my main goal. I just want to keep on building up these gaming communities online because that's my passion, honestly. And I want to keep on trying to do creative stuff with it because I think it's a kind of cool market. Alright, so now we're coming back to the single rail coaster because I had my roommate, coaster enthusiast TWD98, come through and assess the single rail coaster, and he told me that it wasn't that great, and the excitement rating also pretty much proved that, and there was just some really weird elements as well that didn't make sense. So decided to come through, fix it up a bit, and make it a bit spicier because right now a little bit too mild. I ended up putting this element that's like a giant half loop, but you never go upside down because the track like curves and you end up going on top of the loop in the end, and then you go down and do a 0G roll over the track. And then after that I just kind of have it twist around a little bit before it reconnects back up to the second half of the coaster, which I think is okay, and I left pretty much the same. Also, I just love how the coaster cars, whenever they run off the track at the very end, they just like disappear into dust and confetti. It's so weird. I kind of wish the coasters would just like crash and explode every single time. But I guess it just disappearing into smoke is a little bit less aggressive. And now we're going to come back and re-edit this dive coaster because I realized that I made it way too extra. I made it way too long. Some of the elements were just way too tall and way too in your face. After like working on the park for a while, it just like became an eyesore to me. So I went through, readjusted everything, made it a bit shorter, made the elements cleaner looking, and reset the coaster up better so I can have better scenery around it because it was a bit of a jumbled mess, I will admit. But going through and fixing everything is definitely making me feel better about these coasters, and I'm really excited that we're getting close to finishing this back section of the park. And also, on a complete side note, if you're enjoying this music, which I love this soundtrack, this is the Planet Zoo soundtrack, which I found to be very relaxing and just a great thing to listen to. I'm going to probably use it for some of these Planet Coaster videos to switch up the background music some more. And speaking of Planet Zoo, I'm sorry I still haven't made videos over that yet. I've just been kind of busy and distracted by other things. Like I said, I've been planning versus Expo, and that's just really been keeping me distracted, and it's hard to start too many series and different projects when you're so distracted by something as big as an event like that, because it's like one of those things where if I am not successful with this event, I could be in crushing debt and in big trouble. So I have to make sure that I do my due diligence. But that doesn't mean we'll never get to Planet Zoo. I also just like haven't been ready yet because getting into a game like that is a big commitment, and I just wanted to make sure I did it right whenever I got into it. We're working on the station for this dive coaster now, and we're about to like work on the inside of the tower where the chain lift is. And I just want to say this Pokemon Battle Tower thing that I built with these spirals that go on the outside was probably one of the most annoying things I've ever built in this park. Trying to give everything perfect radial symmetry was really, really difficult, especially with the spiral made out of two different coasters. And I cut out about 95% of the footage of me working on that. But I got it pretty much perfect, and I'm pretty happy about that because it was a challenge. But I was like, if I can get it right, it's going to be worth it, and I definitely think it is. But all of the work that you just saw me do in like fast forward, we're about 8 minutes into the video, but currently the amount of like work that I put in just for this episode is probably about like 3 to 4 hours, if not more, of building. I cut out a lot of stuff, but I want to make it as good for you guys. I'm just pretty much giving you the highlight reel of whatever I'm building, because especially when fixing those coasters, there was a lot of trial and error into making them exactly how I wanted. But for the rest of this episode, we're going to focus only on decorating these two roller coasters in the back of the park, Jumanji and the single rail coaster, which I don't think we've named yet. So that'll be today's comment question of the day. After you've watched this full episode and you've seen all the decoration I do for the single rail coaster, give me some names for that coaster in the comment section below. Make them like potentially Egyptian or desert themed, because that's pretty much the decoration I'm doing, but you'll see by the end of the episode the direction I'm taking it. I'm also happy I finally took the time to finish up this whole entire entrance for the Jumanji ride, because I like the vibe of the entrance, how you're just going through just like a random cave and it takes you into a secret passage that leads to a roller coaster. I think that's pretty sick, and I'm glad I got to add like all those little details that kind of like brought it together, like the stalactites and the tree roots moving around the bricks and everything to make it feel a bit more natural. And also, I just remembered, even though I haven't been to any theme parks recently to get any inspiration, Recently, I went on a short road trip from LA to Nevada to get some haircuts because all of the barbers in Los Angeles were closed. And while driving out there, we passed a roller coaster at the California-Nevada border called Desperado, which is a hyper coaster located in a town called Primm, Nevada at the Buffalo Bills Hotel and Casino. And when it was built, it was actually considered one of the tallest roller coasters in the world and was put in the Guinness Book of World Records as such in 1996. I think it's really cool that there's like hotels and casinos out there that build roller coasters and like theme park rides to entice people to come and stay at their resorts. It makes me wonder how many theme parks started as such, because now that I'm thinking about it, the Desperado roller coaster is in a pretty good location because a lot of people drive from Los Angeles to Nevada, so there's a lot of traffic through that area. So it'd be cool if they like somehow just kept on expanding upon that area and making like a theme park around there, because there's a lot of open land and you could like just continuously expand. I feel like it's a fairly good location, apart from the fact that it gets really hot because it's in Nevada, so maybe not, now that I'm thinking about it. It's like one of the most important things you have to think about whenever you're building a theme park, and that is the weather. And if you think about it, the areas where you build your parks on Planet Coaster are pretty much perfect because there's no weather on Planet Coaster. There's no snow, no rain, nothing too bad. Not even sure what the temperature is, but I'm going to guess that it's a very mild 70 degrees, maybe 72 degrees at all times at the Toucan Kingdom. They did end up adding weather to Planet Zoo with snow and rain, and it would be cool to see them like re-add that to Planet Coaster in the future, but we'll see. And also, speaking of Planet Coaster Future, if you didn't hear, Frontier gave us a new little announcement about the console version of Planet Coaster. They originally had it slated to come out in the summer of 2020, but because of the things that have been happening, they had to push it back. So the game is now coming out in the holiday season of this year of 2020. But there is a plus side to it being delayed, and that is it'll also be coming out the same time on the next generation of consoles, the Xbox One X and the PS5. So the fact that it'll be coming out on the next generation and this current generation means a lot of people will have access to this game. I feel sorry that people have to wait, especially since we're like stuck inside. This is a great game to have to like pass time. But I mean, what you gonna do? Game development isn't something you can necessarily rush, especially if you want to get it right. I've never personally owned a current generation of an Xbox or PlayStation before, but if I can have enough money by the time the PlayStation 5 comes out, I kind of want to get it because I think it'd be really cool to try out the console version of Planet Coaster and like see what they end up doing with the game. They also announced that you can play the console versions with the mouse and keyboard just by plugging them into the USB slots in the console. So if that's the case, like that's going to be awesome. It shouldn't be much different. Playing on a controller would probably be a little bit more difficult and time consuming, but the fact that you can play on the console with the keyboard and mouse is freaking awesome. Something I really hope they add to the console edition of Planet Coaster is the ability to like take control of a guest and like actually walk around with your control stick like a normal guest. I feel like that would be a really easy but awesome thing to add to your game to like make your parks that much more immersive. Because right now you can do the Teddycam option where you can just like take control of a guest and like and view their perspective of them going through the park and doing what they want to do. But I think it'd be a little bit cooler if you could just take the control stick and walk around yourself. And something else interesting about the building footage you're watching right now is for the first time since I've updated my graphics card, I tried to stream a building session on Twitch, and it was actually successful. I was able to stream and record it without my computer crashing, and I was very, very surprised. But the fact that I was able to do that means I'll probably be doing more decorating streams in the future. For the longest time, I didn't think I'd be able to do it because of how big the park was. I was like, there's no way. But then I was able to. So, I mean, here we are. We still have lots of building sessions in the future, so hopefully I'll be able to stream more in the future. Also, another reason why I think I haven't been playing as much Planet Coaster recently is I've been playing a lot more Minecraft. And Planet Coaster and Minecraft are similar to the fact that you can build literally anything that you want. But I started a Minecraft server called 2Craft, and it's open to my Twitch subscribers. It's pretty fun. We built like a giant tree house. We do these with things called 100% builds. We're about to build a parkour course. But I've been kind of playing that a little bit more because I've been a little bit lonely staying inside and whatnot, and being able to build stuff with friends has been a little bit more fun and interesting than being alone and building stuff myself. As you see right now, we're adding lots of the nighttime details to this area because they were much needed. It was very dark, and adding all of these lights has really changed the area up and made it that much spicier. Like, this thing is getting caliente now. Muy fuego. Do you know what movie I should watch before I add all the finishing polish to this area? I should go back and watch Prince of Egypt, that one movie by DreamWorks. Oh, one of my favorite animated movies ever, and they do like a really good job at like depicting the Egyptian architecture during the time. So I should go back and watch that. If there's any other like good movies that depict Egyptian architecture, let me know. Like, does The Mummy? I don't know, I've never seen that movie. I feel like I've never seen a movie about Egyptian culture other than Prince of Egypt. I can't even think of another one. I'm not even sure if The Mummy is about Egypt or not. The only thing I know about that movie is the ride at Universal Studios they have about it, which is actually a really, really good ride, not gonna lie. One of my favorite rides I've ridden at Universal Studios. And at Universal Studios Japan, there have been lots of images coming out on the internet showing off some of the details and scenery of that Super Nintendo world that they're building there. It's starting to look pretty legit. One of my favorite things is up on the platforms, they made the coin spin, and the coin spinning honestly brings so much life to the area and it makes it look really, really cool. I'm really hoping that in summer of 2021 I can potentially go and check that out and like vlog my experience, because as the Nintendo Planet Coaster guy, I feel like I could provide some pretty good coverage of the Super Nintendo land. Now, the next thing we're gonna add is we're gonna add these like demon gargoyle type dogs to this Egyptian ride, because I decided that I wanted to add some scary elements to it. I wanted it to have like a more evil Egyptian vibe, because I know Egyptian gods, there's lots of like dark magic and stuff in there, so I wanted to kind of toy along with that vibe a little bit. I also wanted to put some like cool modern looking lights at the top of these little sections that have all of the palmy plants, so it really just like makes them stand out and makes it look super modern. Also, I like how I was talking about how I wanted this ride to have like a dark magic vibe, and then like this music in the background might be like the most optimistic sounding music I have ever heard in my whole entire life. It sounds like the music from my favorite world in Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, World 3. It's an African safari themed world, and it is gorgeous. I cannot play that world without having a big grin across my face the whole entire time. Now moving forward, we're going to start building these structures up a little bit higher, make them look a little bit more menacing, because this coaster is just like standing up in the middle of nowhere, so we got to build some buildings around it. And I decided that I'm going to build like a slight older looking ancient civilization up here, so I'm going to start building even more Egyptian buildings. Just got to keep going harder and harder, man. I am not holding back any of these ideas. The next thing I want to talk about real fast is I have another comment question for you guys. But I just wanted to ask if you guys have any game suggestions yourselves for any good simulation or building games similar to like Planet Coaster and Zoo, Prison Architect, SimCity, that kind of stuff. Because I'm looking for other really good games that are similar to this to try out and potentially play and enjoy myself. So if you would be so kind to let me know, comment section is wide and open, baby. It is waiting for you to type all over it. Yeah, type all over that comment section. You know you want to. I really love this concept I came up with having these like little greenhouse like patio things on the top of the roofs, and it makes the ceilings look just way prettier. I'm not sure if this is something that's actually done in any culture, but it should be done more often, because this looks so much cooler than just having a flat, boring roof. Plants make everything better. Since I'm not able to have any pets at my house in California right now, I've decided to be a father to a bunch of plants instead. I have like 20 plants. Like 5 of them have died so far, so I'm not the best father, but I'll get there. It's good practice. And something else is I decided to make the pyramid 1 block taller. I cut most of it out, but I went through and kind of rebuilt the whole entire thing and made it 1 block taller so you could see it from a distance, because it was a little bit too wimpy for my taste. And lastly, I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you're staying well. I hope you're taking care of your mental health, your physical health, and just making sure to stay connected and not let the current world events get you down too much. Remember that you're pretty responsible for your own health, and to try to keep on top of it as best as you can. It is pretty much like a full-time job, but just remember how important that stuff is, because you only have one body, one life, so make sure you do the right thing. We'll eventually get through this rut that we're going through. At least I hope so. I guess I can't predict the future. I read one article saying something along the lines of, if you think we have reached rock bottom, you're like sorely mistaken. And I'm like, yikes, I don't want to think that way. I'm just going to assume that things are going to get better from here. So let's just be optimistic for now. But in the next episode, we're going to come back through and we will finish the Pokemon Snap ride in its entirety. We got to finish that Mewtwo boss fight and just go ahead and attach all the targets and everything and get that wrapped up so we can make the ride about that. Fixing both of the tracks that we did and getting a lot of the scenery built around this ride. Also, speaking of, leave me some name suggestions for this coaster in the comment section below. And one last reminder, Versus Expo tickets, you can book your tickets and hotel rooms in the link from the description below. If you have any questions related to that, you can put them in the comment section below. I read all the comments and I will see those and answer those for you. But anyways, we are getting to the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Let's Build the Ultimate Theme Park. I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. We're going to get some awesome stuff done. I just love watching this theme park come together. So, thanks for being a part of this. Anyways, you guys stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.